From Daniel Studios in Cincinnati, Ohio, it's the Dennis Daniel Show. Tonight's guest, voice actor Peter New. And your announcer, me, Belldandy. And now, here's your host. He is Cincinnati's next big radio personality, Mr. Dennis Daniel.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, it's the good old Double D, and you are tuned into Blog Talk Radio's hottest talk show, The Dennis Daniel Show. I am your host. I'm like the Big MacIntosh on Blog Talk Radio, so the buck stops here, Dennis Daniel. This installment of The Dennis Daniel Show is brought to you by Cutie Mark Con, Cincinnati, Ohio's first ever My Little Pony convention, May 31st through June 2nd at the Crown Plaza, Cincinnati North, just outside of Cocoa Keys. For more information about Cutie Mark Con, visit www.cutiemarkcon.com. And why am I plugging a My Little Pony convention? Well, because they've got an incredible guest cast coming to the convention, and of course it's in Cincinnati where we're stationed. And of course, confirmed guests include Andrea Libman, Brenda Critchlow, Brian Drummond, Bryna Drummond, Kelly Metzger, Kimlin Tron, Matt Hill, Marika Hendricks, Richard Ian Cox, Rena Chan, Sam Vincent, Vincent Tong, and a little, what the? Under the media guest, there's some guy by the name of Dennis Daniel? Well, when did they announce that? That's right, it's official. Wake the kids, phone the neighbors. I, Dennis Daniel, am making my first ever convention guest appearance at Cutie Mark Con, and I am super excited. We've also got joining us at Cutie Mark Con, and also tonight on the Dennis Daniel Show, voice actor Peter New. That's right, it's a brand new episode, and by that, there are two ways you can take that. By brand new, you mean you've got the, never before heard episode, and then you've got new, because his last name is New. Now, for those of you who don't know who Peter New is, he's best known by the pony community as the big, strapping, yet quietly spoken Big MacIntosh from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic. So is he Big MacIntosh? Yep. He's a strong, wise pony, but doesn't talk very much. But I believe it was Theodore Roosevelt who once said, "Speak softly and carry a big stick." So, Big MacIntosh, speaks softly and carries a big, yep. Anyway, Peter New is also known as Sunil Nevla, the magical mongoose from the newest show on the Hub, The Littlest Pet Shop. And he's quoted as a unbelievable coward. Well, it's like I have a twin. Well, anyway, I figure it'd be cool if we took a look at what made Peter New so incredible. So here is a small, relatively small demo reel of some of his best-known characters.
Hold on! We're supposed to walk into the largest ever pet shop, get past a spiderweb of blazes, disable a very expensive robot security guard and two mean girls, enter a day camp area made of half-inch plexiglass, and walk out with Zoe's sister?
Piece of cake.
Actually, I prefer pie. What do we do? What do we do? They've all been captured. There's no way I'm doing this. I am an unbelievable coward. Okay, I'll do it. For your friends, Sunil. For your friends.
I got my work cut out for me. That there is the biggest bumper crop of apples I ever laid eyes on.
Eeyup. Too big for you to handle on your own.
I'll take a bite out of this job by day's end.
Biting off more than you can chew is just what I'm afraid of.
Are you saying my mouth is making promises my legs can't keep?
Yep. But still only one pony. And one pony plus hundreds of apple trees just doesn't add up to...
Don't you use your fancy mathematics to muddy the issue. How'd you like them apples?
Oh, how do you like them apples?
You're not even gonna talk to us?
Nope.
You should be ashamed of yourself, humiliating your sister and me like that. We don't want to talk to any of y'all right now, so take your little gossip column and your embarrassing photographs and just go away!
Wow. You know that Big MacIntosh is mad when he actually talks to you. It's like mind-shattering. Because we all know he's only known for a couple of words. But you know, I think it was said that those who speak loudest speak fewest. I don't know, maybe I'm just confused myself there. But anyway, let's get right into this. I'm excited. It's going to be an apple bucking of a good show. My guest tonight is a very popular voice actor, best known as Big MacIntosh from My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic, and Sunil Nevla, the magical mongoose from The Littlest Pet Shop, which you can catch both weekends on the Hub. And he's coming to Cincinnati, Ohio for Cutie Mark Con, Cincinnati's first ever My Little Pony convention, May 31st through June 2nd. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, give it up for the one, the only Mr. Peter New.
Thank you very much. It's very nice to be here.
Hey, it's truly a huge honor, you know. Unfortunately, the buck stops here for Apple, so we gotta bring possibly one of the most prolific members of the Apple family on the program.
Well, yes.
So,
yep.
For those of you playing the home version of the Dennis Daniels Show, it's now time for the Dennis Daniels Show drinking game. That's where you take a shot of apple cider for every yep either me or Peter New partakes in.
Okay.
So we're already at 1. And, well, actually, 1. We're at 3. So for those playing the home game, we're at 3 yeps. So that's 3 shots. But anyway,
oh, boy.
It's truly cool to have you on. You know, I can relate to Big MacIntosh just because, you know, he's this... What the... Yes. We're all happy that he's on. Calm down. We're all happy.
Well, I thought that was because you could relate to him. I'm glad that there's a huge following of people that are pleased that Big MacIntosh is relatable.
Yeah, but wait, we'll talk about Big MacIntosh later on in the program. So what got you interested in acting?
I think I was always kind of interested in it. Ever since I was a really little kid, I used to put shows on starring characters I'd invented. And when I was quite little, I had an entire menagerie of animals led. It was basically like a traveling circus hosted by a character inventively named Ruff the Talking Dog. And then there was just a series of other pets, I guess, that Ruff interacted with. And I put these shows on for my family, and that actually went on for a number of years. Or at least it feels like a number of years in hindsight. It was probably only 2, really. But I've always had that just built right into me, that sort of idea that one performs. That's, it's always been a great joy for me. And so when I realized that I guess I can actually do this for a living, it just fell into place. It all just kind of made sense.
It sounds like you had a really, really good background. I was reading up on your website. You're actually the son of a W.H. New, who is a very recognized Canadian author and poet. And it must have been pretty daunting, having to follow it in a shoes of a man like that.
Yeah, indeed. But I've never felt anything short of supported by my family either. So. While on the one hand, you look at someone like my dad, who is incredibly well recognized in Canada in his field, and you think, okay, well, I don't know. I guess you could choose to look at it like a competition if you wanted, but I don't really, because I feel like ultimately what I do is quite different from what he does, and the recognition that I get is different than the recognition that he gets. So. And also when he was my age, he wasn't as recognized as he is now. And it's very easy, to sort of compare where you are now with with somebody else's entire life's work and feel bad about it, but I don't really see the point of that.
Yeah. Well, I think that you've etched out a pretty good legacy of your own with all the cool characters that you voiced. You must be the apple of your father's eye.
Hey. Yep. Take a shot.
Oh, there we go. Take a shot. Yes. I find it cool that his initials are WH, because if he had another middle name for Oliver, then let's see if the audience can connect that joke.
Indeed.
Yes. Who knew? That'd be historic right there. BlogTalkRadio.com. This is the Dennis Daniels Show. We've got actor Peter New on the air, best known as Big MacIntosh from My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, and Sunil Nevla from The Littlest Pet Shop. So, what kind of education do you have in acting?
I have a lot of practical education in acting. I went to a school when I was a teenager called Vancouver Youth Theatre, which I guess was, not really a sort of an official acting school, but it was a place where kids of the same age could get together, and we built plays out of our own material, and then they were refined into proper productions, which were then produced professionally, locally, and toured the world even. And then after that, I sort of had intended to go to a university level acting program, but ended up instead, I was also interested in starting a comedy troupe and just sort of getting out and performing live and seeing if we could make people laugh. And that kind of took off, and so that became the focus. And ultimately, that practical experience is really where I learned everything, because you put yourself in front of an audience weekly for a few years, trying to make them laugh, and that's, the barometer there is if they laugh, it's funny, and if they don't, it's not. And you're the only person that's standing there with the ability to fix it. So you either fix it or you go home. And I was very inclined to fix it. I really wanted to succeed in that venture. So, yeah, practical. I really do believe in the idea that you can learn some technical things from books and from school, and you should. But the practical experience of working is really what's going to prepare you for work in this field.
I think that you need to have, a balanced education. Of course, you need to have the theatrical aspect, but it also helps to take a couple of courses in what we call the School of Hard Knocks.
Indeed, yes.
The School of Life, because you never know until you apply your craft out on the stage in front of the audience. So, and of course, even if it's not the best performance that you've given, you can always walk away learning something from each and every performance. And that makes the performance
Absolutely.
that follows all the better. Again, you just can't learn just everything about acting and theater in a book or in a class. You have to also go out there and take it for yourself. And, I'm pretty sure that William Shakespeare didn't just read his professor's literature books and, apply that. I'm sure he had his fair share of bumps and bruises in the Globe Theatre.
Oh, yeah, I don't think that was an easy time, particularly.
Yeah.
There's a thing that we say here, which is that you don't audition for the job that you're auditioning for. You audition for the next audition. And if you get the job that you happen to be auditioning for, well, that's just gravy, right? And what that means basically is that you're not, whenever you go out to audition for things, you're not trying to, it's not the producer of that thing that you're trying to impress it's not that job that you're trying to get necessarily, but you just want to be putting yourself in a position where you're always on their minds for the next one. Because that's the only way to create any kind of longevity in this field.
Shakespeare once said, all the world's a stage, and Dennis Daniels been booed off all of them.
Yeah, that's
what
right.
I'm doing right now.
Yeah, he then rewrote it, but yeah.
Okay. Anyway, all right. Before we get into the voice acting, I thought it'd be cool to talk about some of your work in some major motion pictures. I know you've had the privilege of working on some cool major motion pictures, including Agent Cody Banks, Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed, which ironically Scott McNeil was in the same movie.
Yes, he was. He was in that movie. That was before I actually knew him, though.
Wow, cool.
So I don't know. I don't really remember if we were on set together or not because I didn't really know who he was at the time. I hadn't really gotten into voice work yet.
Yeah. So what is it like getting to work on these hit movies, and do you have a favorite movie that you've worked on?
I'll answer the first one first. It's really fun most of the time to work on these movies. I really get a kick out of it. You learn pretty quickly that, I mean, some of the parts that I've done, you mentioned Scooby-Doo 2 and Diary of a Wimpy Kid, and I'm barely in those movies. I have a scene, one day of work that sometimes it's just a shot that you get to be in. But even then, I get a real kick out of it. I really have a good time showing up and getting in the makeup and getting in the costume and standing in front of all the lights and the cameras. And, you get to really feel like you're living the dream when you're doing that stuff, which is, really, that's what it's all about ultimately. And then do I have a favorite movie that I've been in? I think, yeah, my favorite movie I've been in is The Imaginarium of Dr. Parnassus, where, again, I just had just a little day part, but to work with Terry Gilliam on that movie was, a lifetime dream come true, so what a thrill.
I'll have to check the movie out. From what you've told me, it sounds like it's a pretty good movie.
Well, it's, if you don't know Terry Gilliam, then it's, I guess it's as good a place as any to start with his work. It's pretty out there.
Yeah, but it must be cool to be cast even in a bit part for a lot of these movies and getting to see your face on the big screen and in Hollywoodland and all that cool stuff. But of
yeah.
course, you haven't let it go into your head, and that's the important thing that you got to remember.
Well, you try not to, yeah, because I don't know. I just feel like it's an industry which makes it very easy to let ego lead you around. You can believe your own press very, very easily. But I try not to because I just think I have a truck going past in the background all of a sudden.
Hi, truck! You're on the internet!
Hi, truck! Yeah. This is a truck full of rocks. That's awesome. So there's an example, right? Like I'm sitting here getting interviewed by you, and it would be really easy to think, oh, I'm important because I get to be interviewed and all this stuff. But then a truck full of rocks drives by in the middle of your answer. And you kind of try, you have to remember that real life still happens. And you're a part of that. And if you lose touch with the real life aspect of your life, then you can no longer really be an actor because your job is to represent real life in some way or another. So you have to stay in touch with all the regular things that are happening, So I don't really believe in this kind of ivory tower sort of, attitude that some celebrity seems to take. I'm not really interested in it.
You got to remain humble, or you end up having a crazy spring break weekend with Dracula.
You can have a crazy spring break Dracula weekend.
I know that you were the Wolfman in there. I'm looking at that. I'm like, is that the Wolfman, or is that that Jonah Hill without the hair?
Yeah, no, that's Kevin the Wolfman. Yes.
Gosh, you see, why isn't this stuff coming to America? This stuff is gold.
Hey, that was straight onto the internet, so anyone can watch that one.
Yes,
I don't know if you have a link there. I can't see what you're doing or anything, so I don't know if you have a link.
We'll post a link on our our website at alltasteexplosion.com and our Facebook page at Dennis Daniels Show. But anyway, it's now time to get into the heart, the nitty gritty. People are asking, talk about the ponies. We're like, okay, calm down. We're talking about the ponies. One of your best known roles is, of course, Big MacIntosh from the popular My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, which you can catch weekends on the Hub. What is it like working on the series?
Yep.
5. Yep, we're at 5 now. What is it like working on
the rocks in the background? Dumping all those rocks out. I'm going to walk around the corner.
All right, we'll wait.
Okay, go ahead.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead. I'm going to leave my yard. There we go. Go elsewhere where it's quieter on the main streets here. Right. Go ahead.
What is it like working on this series, and what do you think of Big MacIntosh's character? Well,
it's great fun working on the series. It's and not only because the fans are so responsive and supportive and terrific, but the show itself, it's a show to be proud of. I'm really, I think the scripts are great, and the same goes for Littlest Pet Shop. I'm really pleased with it, and I think the animation is really fun, and the characters are really fun, and that's always exciting to be able to come to work and do that. Because sometimes you come to work and it's sometimes it can get a little bit loathsome because you manage to land something that you don't particularly care about or you don't find interesting in some way, and there are those days where it's a fight to get through it, and I just don't have those days on either of those shows. They're just such great fun to work on, and the people that work on them from the top down are all terrific, from the writing staff to the directing staff to the rest of the cast. It's just all the producing staff. Everybody's just great. The animators and everyone that I've managed to meet through this. I think Big MacIntosh is a great, funny, fun character. I think it's great. What a good time to be able to, to play the wise old sod who can sort of amble into a scene and sum up a problem with a word. I think that's a terrific gag, and I love then playing with the gag beyond that to be able to take it from summing up the scene with a word to, expecting him to sum the scene up with a word and then having him tear a strip off the Cutie Mark Crusaders or what have you. What a joy to get that script and be able to play that. So I think he's a terrific character. I think he's I don't know. Yeah, good. He's good.
Good. He's good. Good answer. Yeah, good answer. Yeah,
survey says, hey, number 2.
Yeah. I think what people like most about Big MacIntosh is that he's got all this wisdom, but, he doesn't talk that much. And, that's not essentially a bad thing. He's like a monk, like my little monk. He's got all this brotherly sage and wisdom and the knowledge of the universe and all this stuff. And I don't care what they all say about that Doctor Who fella, but because I think MacIntosh has got the most brains of anybody on that show. But he's so humble.
Well, you know what you've just done. I now think there should be a web series where Big MacIntosh is the Doctor's new companion.
We've already got Doctor Who and My Little Pony. Let's not put My Little Pony into the Doctor Who.
Oh, come on, let's do it. Let's have little Flash web created. I would love to be on Doctor Who, even if it's just to say, yep.
6. For those of you playing the Dennis Daniel Show drinking game, we are now up to 6 yeps. Oh, 7. But it's really cool that, you get to play this awesome character who again doesn't have to be the star of the show to have an impact. He there could be chaos going on and all this stuff, and he just walks in and they go, let me guess, Caramel dropped all the seeds again. Yep, 8.
That's right.
It's still cool to have an impact like that, and again, people say Big MacIntosh, that is some pony, I'll tell you what.
Yeah, well, I think you're absolutely right. It is such a thrill to get the kind of response that I get from Big MacIntosh, because it could very easily be the opposite. He's just a guy who says nope and yup and who cares. But this fan community is just so supportive and fun that. And tolerant and loving, that it just ends up being, I go to the conventions and I meet people on the street sometimes, and it's just it never fails to be an absolute joy to meet people, and everybody's so excited about any character in the show. It's a thrill.
I just hope they don't give you any Smarty Pants dolls.
I've got 2.
Son of a gun.
I've been given 2 Smarty Pants dolls, and I love them. They're quite different, actually. One is kind of a big, kind of chubby Smarty Pants, and one is a tiny, floppy one, and I sort of like that. And again, this is the thing with the fan community, just creating all the art and the plushies and whatnot. I just, it's astonishing to me that you can get all this art and merchandise at these conventions and online, and and they're marvelous. They're great quality, and I think it's brilliant.
I know that you actually recorded some audio for those who don't know. Last year, Tara Strong, who's Twilight Sparkle, came out with this little limerick about being quote unquote Twilight-licious, and they did one for Applejack, and Applejack's getting ready to talk. Then out of nowhere, Big MacIntosh, and he does his little is it Macalicious?
Yeah.
It's really cool that that you get to. Not only do you get to voice MacIntosh in the show, but you're also getting a chance to interact with all your fans and do all these cool little videos. And I think it's pretty something else.
Well, I didn't know that video was actually going to get made necessarily. I was doing an interview, I think, and someone was keen to hear. They asked me if I had a Macalicious or whatever, and I had been working on one sort of idly, and I thought, okay, well, I'll just read it out. And then Black Griffin, I guess, I know him as Black Griffin on Twitter, just took it and made a video out of it, and But again, I never cease to be amazed and flattered by all of that stuff. Like it's so. I lose all the words. It's just incredible, and I don't know how else to express that.
Do you think
it's overwhelming?
Do you think you could do the Macalicious for us?
Not off the top of my head, I'm afraid. I don't have it.
That's okay. That's okay.
I don't have it committed. No one has ever asked. You're the first person since then that's ever asked me to do it again. So it's been like a year since 6 months anyway since I've done it. So.
Well, we're going to have to get that recorded, and that actually brings us into our next tangent. You're actually going to be coming to Cincinnati, Ohio next month for Cutie Mark Con, May 31st through June 2nd at the Crown Plaza, Cincinnati North, just outside of Cocoa Keys, and you're joining quite a cavalcade of guests, including yours truly. I've never been to a My Little Pony convention, Peter, so what is the general feel for a My Little Pony convention?
For the most part, they have just been just a terrific party. It's been a really great time, fans and cast interacting, and it's just a very festive atmosphere where everybody just there's no judgment and no none of the negative stuff really that you can get online sometimes, and it's just it's a really safe, really fun, very musical, very funny place where we can all kind of get together and celebrate this show.
Buy some cool merchandise, buy some hats, some wallets, some scarves, walk around in our MLP swag.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great good time. I'm really looking forward to it.
I wonder if we'll see any Big MacIntosh cosplayers.
I usually do. Which is, always great. There was one guy in New Jersey, he was in the artists, or the vendor hall, and I sort of came up beside him, and he was looking at a thing at the table, and I sort of looked over his shoulder at the thing at the table, and everyone around sort of gradually realized that it was me standing next to him, and he didn't really know, and so it just became this kind of thing. I thought, well, let's just see how long it takes him to figure out, that it's me standing there. And he turned around and eventually figured out it was me and just about fell over backwards. It was very entertaining.
It's got to be pretty cool to meet one of your pony heroes, especially if you're dressed up as them. I think we're gonna get flooded with a lot of Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy cosplayers because Andrea's going to be there, but I pray we see some Big MacIntosh. So if you're going to Cutie Mark Con, folks, bring some Big MacIntosh cosplays because we want to see them.
Sure, and I'm always happy to see Magnum cosplays and
Persnickety.
Yes, I don't think I've ever seen a Persnickety. I've seen one Magnum. I would love to see an Atlas cosplay.
Too many ponies. Of course, you also voice a cavalcade of minor characters, but that's a cool thing because you see these guys, they're cosplaying the minor characters, and I can't believe how so much this pony stuff has affected it. It's like, I don't know how it even gets this big. It's just so mind blowing. It's like
it is, yeah.
But
it's the only thing to do is to celebrate it. that's the only reaction you can really have. You can't, obviously some people are critical of it, but I just don't, again, I don't really see the point of that. Like, why do you want to create that kind of disruption? I don't get it. But, so just celebrate it.
Yeah. Like we say in the community, we're going to tolerate and love the crap out of you.
Yeah, there you go.
BlogTalkRadio.com, this is the Dennis Daniels Show. We've got Peter New on the air, best known as Big MacIntosh from My Little Pony, Friendship is Magic. And this next awesome character, another popular role you've never known for, is Sunil Nevla from the popular Littlest Pet Shop, which you can also catch weekends on.
Oh, yes. Yes, indeed.
What do you think of Sunil's character being this incredibly cowardly mongoose, but having all this incredible power?
It is terrific fun to be that character, partly because he's so very much the opposite of Big MacIntosh. It's fun to be able to go to work and do something. That's one of the joys of voice acting, is to be able to play opposite, and so it's great to be higher and squeakier and screamier. He screams a lot. So yeah, it's a great joy to be able to do that. And as a character, just in and of himself, I think he weirdly, there is a weird similarity between him and Big MacIntosh too, in that I think he's got a lot of inner strengths. It's just that Big MacIntosh knows he's got that strength and Sunil doesn't.
I like Sunil. He calls himself an incredible coward. I'm like,
an unbelievable coward.
It's like I have a twin.
Yeah. The thing is that I think is relatable about both of these characters ultimately is that's what happens to a lot of people. We all sort of react to, and not just my characters, but all of the characters on these shows. We often just react to them by saying, well, that is me. I do have that tendency. I go into these situations and feel like a coward, or conversely, I go into these situations and these are the kinds of situations I can go into and feel really brave in. And I feel like one way or the other, the characters are in both of these shows are very good at inspiring you to be better yourself, and that's great. How many times have I said "that's great" in this interview? A lot, I think.
I'm not sure. We should
have a that's great drinking game. That's really what it should be. People would be just absolutely loaded on apple cider.
Oh,
I should catch them. Eeyup.
Oh, 11.
There we go.
I think we're at 11. Let's see. I'll have to go back and check. I think we'll
say 11.
Yeah. So anyway, I was getting ready for this interview, and I saw that on your Facebook page. There's this contest going on for I believe a project you're working on called Alien Abduction. Could you tell us a little bit about it?
Absolutely. Yeah, Alien Abduction is it's created, written, and directed by the same guys that did Crazy Dracula Spring Break Weekend and the Charlie the Clown Show, which I worked on both of, Matt and Mikey Granger. They found out about this contest called Cineku, which is running in Canada, where 90 different filmmakers from across the country submitted trailers. And then there was a vote, and eventually 90 got culled to 60, and then 60 got culled to 40. And right now, this weekend, 40 is culling to 15, and we're still in it. But we need help. We need help getting votes, because even if you've voted already, you can still vote again, because every week there's a new mission, a new fan mission. You can earn new votes on the website, which is cinecu.ca, which is CINECOUP.ca/alien abduction. And you can go and make a profile. You don't have to be Canadian. You can be from anywhere in the world, and as far as I know, and go and vote and help us get to the top one, ultimately, because the top one wins $1 million, which is a pretty big prize. So, and we can put that towards, we can put that towards production, and then we get to shoot an actual movie instead of just a trailer, and make it look pretty slick and good, and hopefully get it released all over the world, so you can see me all in blue, including my face.
Oh, sorry. Yes, I think that actually is pretty cool. And of course, we'll link, they've got a American version, Cineku.com/alien abduction, and we'll post that after the interview on the Dennis Daniels Show Facebook page at facebook.com/Dennis Daniels Show. So guys, be sure to vote. They've got it started yesterday, but they've got until Sunday, the 28th, to vote for this. And guys, if you help vote for this, this guy could win $1 million to make this awesome movie. And I don't think there isn't a man, woman, or a child alive that wouldn't want to see Peter New covered in blue.
Well, thank you.
Because that would be blue new.
That would be blue new. It would be new. I don't know. This could go in the very wrong direction very quickly.
Oh, yes, it can.
But yes.
So we've got a couple of chat room questions right now. Our first one is, are there any new shows or projects that you're working on that you can tell us about?
None that I can talk about. There's one I can talk about, which is a movie called Gula City, which I recorded last year and just recently recorded some songs for. It stars, I forget his name. I forget his last name. Louis from Stargate. Louis something. Oh, that's really professional. Stars him and me. It will come to me eventually, hopefully before the end of the show, as a couple of it's basically like a road movie, like a Bob Hope, Bing Crosby road movie, but set in this weird city. And it's really a good time, really, really fun. And it should be released in 2014, early 2014. I can tell you about that. There's nothing else I can particularly talk about at the moment, although that doesn't mean I'm not working on things.
Well, that's cool.
There's a lot of not, here's your job, please don't talk about it. There's a lot of that goes on, too, so.
Story of my life.
Yeah.
But anyway, we've actually got a caller on the air right now.
Caller, can you hear me? Caller, can you hear me?
Hi, my name is Riley Melnick.
Hey there, Riley. Hi, how you doing?
Good. I'm doing great, thank you.
Where are you from?
New Jersey.
Oh, you're from the Jersey.
Fabulous New Jersey.
Awesome.
Yeah, and you know what? Thank God I'm not from the shore.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
yeah, right?
We got a situation on the Dennis Daniels Show. Hey. Okay, so what's your question for Peter?
Peter, I hope to someday be a voice actor like you. I practice every day on different ranges, different accents, even singing. And I just want to know, is there any advice you can give me from a pro like you? Practicing all that stuff is fantastic. You got to keep doing that. Do you do any acting outside of that? In fact, I was just in a short film for a college film down in, not Rockaway, I don't remember. It was really fun. It was fun doing it. Small part, but everyone there said that I was amazing, that I was definitely going to do something big.
I think you're absolutely on the right track if you're doing that, and you're keeping up trying to learn how to act, because voice acting is primarily acting and secondarily voice. But when you feel like you're ready, have you put together a demo yet?
No, I do not.
Okay, well, that I think probably is the next step for you. Once you feel like you're ready to put together a demo, that's what you need to do. What you should do in order to find out what you need to do for demos is get online and see if you can Google some voice actor demos from people that you know, or voice actors that you know. I know mine's online somewhere. And if you can find it, listen to it. Listen to people that are in your range, and just see what see what it is that they're doing, and see if you feel like you can compete with that if you're on that level. And if you think you are, then put together a demo and try getting an agent, and that's the next step for you.
All right, well, I'll have to see about that. Thank you so much for this.
Hey, you're welcome.
Hey, well, thanks for calling in. Gosh, how did I lose control of my own show?
Well, you invite guests on, and then they talk. You know how it goes.
Yeah. From K to Luck, how does it feel to be Big MacIntosh?
It feels much like it is to be Peter New, interestingly enough, until I go to the conventions, and then it feels a little bit kind of amazing and kind of strange and kind of wonderful, because I mostly just get to walk around in my life and be myself like anyone. And then you go to places like that, and there's a lot of attention, and it's very fun and interesting. I don't know how to answer that. It feels like myself, because I'm mostly just trying to bring myself to a character and say, well, here's the way that I would do this, and I'm lucky enough to have booked that job.
So let's assume that it feels like being Big MacIntosh. It's like feeling like being a badass, essentially a quiet badass.
A quiet badass, yes.
So yes,
sure.
There, awesome. From Kaz Wolf, I would like to ask Peter if he has any real-world apple bucking experience, and if he thinks it actually helped him accurately portray the role.
I don't know that my real-life apple bucking experience has, in fact, helped me to portray the role. I'm not. The apple bucking mostly happens in animation, ultimately, and not in voice. But I have had real-world experience doing the human version of apple bucking, because when I was a kid, we had 2 apple trees in our backyard, and so annually they needed to be picked, and so as kids, we'd climb up in the trees and pick all the apples, and we actually had pears as well and plums for a while.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever apple bucked anything. Well, again, that's why the buck stops here.
Yeah, perhaps.
Yes. Yes. Yep. 12.
Yep.
13. Let's see. Oh, wait. Yep. 20. 20.
Yep.
21. Are we gonna count? Are we gonna count C's as yeps? Oh, 22. Okay, we gotta stop. I'm halfway through my Coke. I'm halfway through it already. Okay, well, Peter, before we let you go, one question we'd like to ask all our guests who are voice acting specialists. Our audience is a lot of voice acting majors, theater majors, drama majors, and they want to get their start in the voice acting industry. Do you have any advice for those who want to pursue their own career in voice acting?
Well, it's much like my answer a few minutes ago. If you have to get out into the world, and even with a theater degree or a film degree, you need to get out in the world and start finding ways to act in the practical world, because you can go into a classroom setting and fake an audition in that scenario, and your adrenaline's going to be a little bit higher, because you have to perform in front of your classmates and everything else, but it is not the same as walking into a studio with people behind the glass and putting a character down when the person sitting across from you is Scott McNeil, and he's waiting his turn, or he's just come out, or whatever. And it's a tough, high stress situation to be in, and you have to go for that if you want it. You have to be aware that that's the bar, and some days, you walk in there and you feel like you nailed it, and some days you walk in there and you feel like you didn't. You got to put yourself out there, put yourself in that situation, find out where you can participate in the real world of this business near where you live, because there's nothing else that's going to prepare you for it, and frankly, nothing else that's going to lead you towards it. Because, of course, the more experience you get, the more you're known, the more you're confident, the more you start to understand what your own limitations are, what things that you need to overcome, and where you need to go yourself, if that makes any sense.
Makes all the sense in the world. Again, you can't just stay in your little bubble of safe and protection. You got to venture out there into the real world, And it's really rough nowadays. It's rough nowadays to be a voice actor, especially with the advances in the in the overall technology that's going on, and just that everyone is trying to make their own mark in voice acting. So it's really tough. But is anything that we truly desire easy to get? No, it's not.
At a certain point, it becomes easier. Right? Every now and then, you get that audition, or that something comes in, and you think, "Oh, I know what this is," and you do it, and it seems really easy, and then they give it to you, and you think, "Wow, it's super easy today." But the thing is, you have to remember, when it's super easy like that, that's the result of 20 years of work.
Of course, you've had such an iconic career, and it can only go nowhere else but up after all of this. And I cannot wait to see the awesome roles that you're going to be playing in the near future. You know, maybe finally we'll get that episode where Big MacIntosh just says more than just "Yep, 23," or "Nope," But we got to be careful because, you know, talking normal for Big MacIntosh, that can unravel the fabric of the space-time continuum, because we saw what happened in Ponyville Confidential, and it blew everyone's minds clear out of their skulls.
Yes, indeed. And it was a ball. That was a ball to do.
Mr. New, I thank you so much for being on the program, and this is truly a huge honor. Guys, check out My Little Pony Friendship is Magic every weekend on the Hub, and be sure if you're coming to Cincinnati anytime in the near future, make sure it's the final weekend in May for Cutie Mark Con, where you can meet this guy and this guy.
Hey.
Mr. New, thank you for being on the program, and I appreciate it so much. And hopefully we'll have you back on in the near future.
It's a pleasure, and I hope so too. Thank you.
Well, folks, this is the Dennis Daniels Show. Until we see you down the road, be sure that your life's full of good, bad, and yup. 25 yups.
Yep.
27. Yep. 28.
Yep.
29.
Yep.
30.
Yep.
31.
Yep.
32.
Yep.
33.
Yep.
34. 35.
Yep.